there was a great deal of interest coming from different groups and different people that were approaching me at that time. For example, I got, people tried to recruit me into the psychic army from the Russian psychic army, psychic program, some people might call it. And I kind of stepped back and said, if I continue, I'm not going to be able to do this work. And I sort of slipped into the background and stayed very, very quiet for a long time until 2003, when I had a vision in a dream that told me it was time to go to work. And so since 2003, I've been sort of following these visions and dreams and guidance from what I say is Creator and these ETs and my own spirit and my own heart, and moving forward with the information that these ETs gave me 23 years ago. Because the most important information on there is not about, it is not necessarily about what the inside of the craft looks like. It is not about what these ETs look like. It is not about any of those things. The most important thing is that we as human beings, collectively and as independent human beings, have the ability to harm the universe and to harm this planet. But we also, collectively and individually, through choice, have the ability to do great peace work and to bring about unity and a more spiritually based world. So there was a massive amount of information that was given to me, and we can get that a little bit more,
sure,
by specific questions. But for the overall general story, because it's massive, it is not easy for me to focus in one area because I can focus in 1,000 different areas. It depends on what you would like us to focus on today. The messages from these beings are so extremely important, but another part of the message from them is that they're not the issue, humanity is. And although the ET experience that I had gave me a platform, one might say, to be able to bring this forward, by no means do I feel that it is even the important part of my work and what I do. The indigenous people from around the world, according to these beings, have a very specific role to play in our world, that they always have and that they always will. They are very much the indigenous connected to nature, to all life, not just in this world, but in all the worlds, through their ceremonies, through their traditions. And many of these traditional groups around the world originally held what I term sacred knowledge. And this is not something that I researched. It is something that was given to me by these extraterrestrials, period. I do not claim in any way, shape, or form that I speak on behalf of any tribe. I don't claim that I have contacts with all of these tribes around the world, because in fact I don't. What I say is that the true traditional people have not come forward yet. There are very few true traditional people who have really, really come forward to speak to the world in a unified way. They are beginning now. But there are also a great many people out there that use the traditions and use the sacred ceremonies of these amazing people to further themselves and to sell the sacred. The Great Gathering is in one way giving attention through my own personal responsibility to give honor and respect of these people who have been the caretakers of our earth, who have stood in protection of the earth in any way, shape, or form that was possible to them, and at all cost, meaning the cost of poverty, starvation, death, destruction, manipulation, you name it. They are the ones that have been in protection of Mother Earth. So we collectively, as human beings, have a responsibility, an absolute responsibility for the existence of humanity on this earth, for our future, and for respect of those who are respectful to this earth. And this is what the Great Gathering is about. This is what the ET message is, sort of all bringing it into one, bowl of soup. That's what it is. Right. It's about the unity. And we have, with all of the things that are happening in the world, there is so much destruction that's happening right now in such a rapid rate for the animals of the earth. The fish are dying, the water's dying, the ozone is being depleted, all of these different things. The one thing that I know is that if everything that these ETs going 3 years now, for me, and I can't convince anyone of this, but I can say, for me, everything that they told me initially, I thought I was nuts. I thought I was crazy, off my rocker, completely out to lunch. As I began to allow it and be accepted fully into, my belief system, I've watched over the years all of these little things that they've said would happen are happening, and I've seen them, and I'm being affected by that. Mm-hmm. If all of that is the truth, and I know that it is, I also know another truth, and that is that if enough human beings can come together in unity to really facilitate change in a positive, peaceful way, through thought, through meditation, through action, then we can turn our and we avoid many of these disharmonious events that maybe we're on the path to collide with. We may not be able to stop things, but we can certainly change them. And that's what I know as the truth. And that's why I'm doing all that I can by taking this personal responsibility and creating the things that I am. So.
Okay, so why do you think that that the time is now? Because we all know that this wave of unity has been building up so much, and it's getting higher and higher and stronger. So why do you feel or think that it's all starting to happen right now? As we talked about, the Earth, is starting to go through a tremendous deal of pain and changes. So why do you think it's all coming together now at this moment?
There's a lot of reasons for that. Lots and lots and lots of reasons. This is, again, I'm going to talk to you about what these ETs shared with me, okay? And I don't want it to be confused with anything else. This is what the ETs told me. They said that we would be coming into a time when the energy of life itself would be changing, and that there were many reasons for this. And a big part of it would be because of where we were situated in the actual known universe, okay? And that some of these energies and particles, one might say, that are filtering through the entire universe would be affecting our planet Earth. They also said that the sun would be affecting the planet Earth. They said that because of a number of factors that are coming from the universe itself and filtering onto the Earth, that many of these things would be brought about. For example, earthquakes, solar flares, which we're seeing, volcanoes erupting, which they are, and that there was going to be issues with these areas around the Earth's ozone that were going to be depleted as well. Now, if you take all of this into consideration, and again, I would like to stress that this is not, I'm saying these things not from something I've read or that another person told me. It's from what extraterrestrials on board a UFO said to me in 1988. And so now, in our reality, many tribes, for example, the Mayans are coming out and saying, yes, this is going to happen. Yes, there's solar flares coming. Yes, we have this in our prophecies. There are things, of course, in Revelations in the Bible that talk about this. Within almost every religion and belief, they talk about these kinds of events that are going to be coming to us. For me, as a 22-year-old that had no interest in any kind of spiritual things or, meaning I wasn't belonging to any group or anything like that, and it certainly wasn't religious, to have that kind of information and knowledge was extraordinary. Why this is coming into fruition now is because of our actual physical position within the universe itself. This is playing an absolutely critical part of it, but it is not in the entirely whole picture. It also has to do with the fact that the souls of the human beings that are here right now are participants. We are co-creators of what the universe actually is because of, use the term that you need to use. God, source, creator. You need to find that word for yourself. But we truly are a part of that supreme life, that whole connectedness. And that our thoughts actually determine just as much as Creator or God himself what is going to happen here on Earth. So, first of all, there was, X number of people on the planet, and those X number of people on the planet had physical bodies, okay? Mm-hmm. Oh, this gets very complicated.
It's okay.
It makes me have to go right back to the beginning of mankind and how we were created, because the only way to truly explain this answer for why we're going through this today requires how was man created, where were we, how did we get to where we're going, and then it gets into the question of the DNA and why we're changing. So why we're having this happen is because we are in the process of changing physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as human beings. If you take a pot of hot water, okay, and you take one glass of cold water and you dump it into the pot, what happens? The pot of water becomes cooler immediately. This is what is happening on the earth. As one person is able to become connected to the other worlds, meaning spiritually connecting in through meditation, through prayer, through yoga, through, anything like that, through mantras, we've managed to bring in these different energies that change us, that physically change the body and the way it functions with its electrical core. As that happens, all of life that we then interact with becomes stimulated, and we leave little droplets of that energy everywhere we go. So then, in turn, all of us begin to change. We begin to affect that change. This is what's happened. More and more human beings are coming here, and there have always been spiritual masters, spiritual teachers, spiritual leaders, and spiritual followers of any kind. Spiritual meaning covering everything from the indigenous to religious, everything in between. If those individuals have the ability to do this work, we have created more and more and more change through every generation. There's been more of these souls that have come into the bodies that have been able to do this process and bring about more of a connectedness and awareness from one world, meaning, from a forest. That's a world. That's a whole other world to us. You can go into a forest and you are in another world. You just have to open your eyes to be able to see that.
Sure.
So all of that, each individual taking that responsibility of opening themselves up to that that great connectedness for the great, I am, the great creator, and to God